Sonoma County is well known as a wine and food destination around the world. From the outside looking in, our food is thought to be dominated by sustainable and organic ingredients prepared by renowned chefs. However, that is not the reality for much of our community. Welcome to Community Health Connections. My name is Oscar Chavez. In this episode, we'll take a look at our food system, where our food comes from, where it ends up, and what happens in between. Through the collaboration of many different people and organizations, Sonoma County is working to build a strong, healthy, and sustainable food system for generations to come.
A food system is the natural and economic structure that allows a community to feed itself.
It's everything that we need to do to get food from our farms to our bellies.
It's this invisible network of relationships. A lot of times people think of the food system as just a farmer or a grocer, etc., but it's really about the relationships, or when a food system is unhealthy, the lack thereof.
Our relationships with one another and our relationships with a healthy food system are the true generators of well-being, both for us individually, but also for communities and for the planet.
I've been a local food activist for many years, and I always start with asking people to know where their food comes from.
Start asking questions. Ask yourself, why is the food at the farmer's market so much more expensive? And why is it that we can buy food for so cheap at the grocery store?
If you go back 2 generations or 3 generations, everyone was eating local food, everyone was eating whole food, everyone was eating organic food, because that's all there was. A lot has changed in the last 2 or 3 generations, and very few people now are actually eating the kind of diet that most nourishes us.
There's probably no more powerful way that you and I can affect the nature and the quality of the community that we live in than what we do around food.
The number one thing that I think that can really transform the way we relate to food is to get people out on the farm. You know, that's where you learn about the struggles of what it's like to be a family farmer, and that's where you learn about the opportunities of getting your family and your friends out into the dirt, harvesting your own produce, meeting the farmer, really developing that trust in the source of your food.
150 years ago, nobody would have thought about a good life that didn't involve a garden, because you couldn't have it. Right? If you wanted to eat good food, you grew it yourself. And slowly but surely, as we've become more busy in our lives, you know, it's natural, it's harder for all of us to take the time to do gardens.
Gardening with children is essential. To make a change, to create change in our food system and in our overall health and well-being and community, we have to start with the children young.
Soil feels good. This one's
The youngsters, if they put the seed in the soil and they water it and love it and grow it and eat it, they will eat that food forever. But it's very important for us to create change and to move further in this movement is to get the gardens in the schools going.
We can try new things that we think, oh, I'm gonna hate this because it's vegetables. And then when you try it, you think, wow, I think this is really good. I'm gonna try to buy this at farmer's market if I can.
Right now we've got over half the small farms in California. Guess what? They're losing money. It's really hard to remain economically viable as a farm.
I mean, there's a ton of stuff that puts a lot of pressure on this farm and dairymen in general. 10, 15 years ago, most of this ground was open on this farm and our neighbors' farms too. Now the vineyards have moved in. We've got urban sprawl. So land that was available even a few years ago is being sucked up.
There's land available that's not being used to its best purpose. And sometimes it's just people's backyards. There are a lot of perks to having a farm in your backyard. You're doing it because you want access to fresh local food. You want it because you want your children to live in a world where the food system is not controlled by a few corporate enterprises based hundreds, if not thousands of miles away. If you do have land, get in touch with me. I can find you a farmer, a strapping young farmer. Would be more than happy to grow food for you.
Having a farm
In our case, it's like having one business. Having the creamery is almost like another business. The whole marketing aspect is almost like a third business. So there's a lot of facets to any farm on any scale, things you need to learn about before you buy that piece of land you've been dreaming of.
So the Food Systems Alliance has put together what it calls a food action plan. And this food action plan has 4 primary goals. One of these is to assure our long-term ability to continue to grow food in our county. There are things having to do with the economic survivability of our farms, on preserving our actual agricultural land, everything to do with sort of the first floor, if you would, of a food system.
The average age of the American farmer is about 58 and climbing. So for us, a bunch of kids in our 20s, it kind of felt like we were the only ones under the age of 58 doing it. So one of the coolest things about the Farmers Guild was that all we did was get around a table, have some food, have a few beers, and little by little people started talking to each other, saying, if I could just find someone or a few people to come help me harvest blueberries, then when my blueberry season is over, I'm gonna have a lot of free time. People started collaborating in ways that really worked out for both just sharing the resources and skills, but also just from a market standpoint. What would have cost you thousands of dollars costs you a day and a favor. And you can't do it on your own. You just can't do it.
Our communities need to continue to come together more. We've become, as a society, more distanced from where our food comes from.
If we concentrate on creating more opportunities to buy and grow local food, we can build a virtuous cycle of people growing and producing good food, being paid for that from money that we earn in the community, and having that go through the community over and over.
100 years ago, you went out to your local community and there was a few different stores, a few different butcher shops, maybe a grocery store, and you chose which one you wanted to sell to. And nowadays, those distribution companies have all been bought out, and when your choices are 3 corporations that are probably working together anyway to determine how much you can sell that product for, you're at the whims of a system that is so far beyond you.
Economic vitality and a set of policies that make it a great place to be a farm to fork community is a core goal.
We need to be buying locally, and we need to be supporting our local producers. And that's a big part of developing a healthy, local, resilient food system.
There's not a lot of factory type stuff going on here. I know every cow here. I'm always here. I think buying from smaller farms and places like Clover, you're guaranteeing you're supporting something that's local, not something where you just go to the store. You don't know where it came from. You just think it came from the supermarket.
Our products are probably not the cheapest on the market. They're probably a little bit more expensive. But if you look at the system that Clover supports and how it keeps agriculture alive in Sonoma County, you're supporting so much more than just buying a half gallon of milk.
Every dollar you spend at the supermarket, at the cheese shop, wherever, that's a vote. So support those local businesses that you love, because more often than not, they're small farms, they're doing right by the land and the animals, hopefully, and your money is staying local.
The fact of the matter is that Sonoma County still has too many communities that are isolated. Isolated because of language, isolated because of economic status, isolated because of fear in some cases. Many of our neighbors are here that without documentation, and they're worried about participating in open public processes. So we have a lot of work to do. We have to work with what's really here. But I think there's some really good examples of things that are progress.
In health education, we realize that getting healthy is more than just personal choice. We have found that creating a healthy food environment and having access to healthy foods in all neighborhoods is a very important piece.
So food desert is an area which the USDA has deemed basically vacant of any healthy food options or any food options whatsoever in a particular neighborhood.
For folks who have cars and are used to sort of driving to wherever they want to go, it's hard to imagine, a food desert in Sonoma County. But if you don't have a car and your food source is more than, let's say, 10 or 20 blocks away, it's a real job to get to where you need to go. So a food desert is a place where there are no good choices in that area.
Lower income neighborhoods do seem to have more corner stores. In the neighborhoods that we work in, a lot of people are walking to the store, grabbing a few things, and we want to be able to provide healthy food right there in their neighborhood.
A lot of the public health work is about bodega programs. How do you get more healthy foods in small corner grocery stores? And there, what you really have to deal with is the economic realities of what it takes to run a corner grocery store. These guys make their money off of high margin products, sodas, alcohol, cigarettes, and their distributors don't bring them apples and bananas. They don't have refrigeration for the kinds of things that we might want to have, like fruits or lettuces or greens. And so the question there is, how can you create support for these bodegas, which are important parts of their community, to be able to address more of the community's needs with what they offer? And it's work in progress.
The Healthy Fruit Outlet Project provides technical assistance to small stores to help them make healthy changes.
We work with stores around Sonoma County, particularly in low-income communities, and right now we have markets that we're working with in Petaluma, Roanoke Park, Boys Hot Springs, Healdsburg, and South Santa Rosa.
It might be bringing in fresh produce or improving or expanding their produce section. It might be helping them to place healthy advertising and decrease unhealthy advertising. Just generally helping them to increase their healthy food options.
Hemos cambiado varios productos de la tienda por unos de mejor calidad, como carnes, verduras. Hemos traído productos orgánicos, las carnes más frescas.
We wanted to really help our neighborhood and our community. We're also located right down the street from a high school, and when the high schoolers come in, they don't go straight for the candy. Instead, they go for the baked items and the juices that we have in front, and even fruits and water.
The reason why this is so important, particularly in the communities that we work in, is we've seen a higher rate of overweight and obesity, especially among lower income and Latino residents living in these communities.
Yo en lo personal no como comida rápida. Yo quisiera orientar a todas las personas y que entiendan que eso no tiene nutrientes, no tiene vitaminas, no tiene proteínas, no tiene nada de lo que tu cuerpo necesita. Entonces, en lugar de una comida rápida, si le podemos dar fruta o verduras a los niños, ahorita que los niños desde muy chiquitos que tienen diabetes o que tienen problemas de obesidad, toda esa comida chatarra, si lo podemos evitar, estaría mucho mejor. Nos ayudaría mucho y evitaríamos muchos problemas y enfermedades de salud.
I think the best thing is when I go back to a store after working with them for a while, I'll go back a few months later and I see that they are making changes on their own. And that's the most exciting thing, that they have taken this seriously and understand that they have a role in improving the community's health. And I think that's what makes the program successful, is they really do understand that even their own family members might be having diabetes or heart disease. And so they want to make the changes because they know that those things affect their own lives and their neighborhoods.
People can ultimately make their own decisions on what they purchase at grocery stores. It's just up to us and every other store here and around the world to offer them healthier options.
We've got people who are flat out hungry or food insecure. We've got others who are priced out of the local food movement. And then we've got folks who do have wealth and resources who can make a change.
We can grow just about anything here. We have figs next to walnuts, next to persimmons and apples and oranges. This is a paradise of growing things, of just about anything. And there's no reason why there should be so many hungry people.
All over the county, we've got great groups of people that are really working to try to reach out to communities, to engage them in and support them in food self-sufficiency and also projects that make a difference, whether they're gleaning projects or in their own farming activities.
Gleaning is where citizen volunteers come out and harvest excess produce and then distribute it to hunger relief groups and agencies.
So if you have a great garden and you just can't eat all of your tomatoes at the end of the year, contact an organization like Petaluma Bounty and they will take all of your extra fruits and vegetables from you.
The crop farmers, because they have all this beautiful produce, and if for some reason, okay, they sold just a little bit this week, it's still growing, it still needs to be picked, what do we do with it? And Crop Monster has been a good model of how to sort of help distribute it, get it out there, and give people a very good price for local quality produce.
Crop Mobster really emerged to help solve a problem on my family's farm. We can post instant alerts online that can be deals or donations or freebies, and they go via email and Facebook and Twitter and the good old-fashioned phone tree, and then the community gets together to help find a home for the food. We're 6 months in. We estimate that we've facilitated saving over 50 tons, over 100,000 pounds of food in the Bay Area community. And that translates into a few 100,000 servings. By connecting the dots around the topic of food waste, we're able to transform that negative impact on the environment, on economies, on our community into positive value.
There is no government that's going to come in and help us. Rather, hunger is a very local issue. In fact, it's very neighborhood-based, and I would argue that everybody within every community needs to come forward and make a difference for the people in need.
The Redwood Empire Food Bank is one of my heroes. They are not content with the proposition that there will always be hungry. They are asking the question, how can we eliminate hunger? And they're changing the idea of what a food bank is from being emergency food to actually being a venue for making these deep changes to the root systems that we're addressing.
The Redwood Empire Food Bank reaches the needs of 78,000 people every single month in Sonoma County. Many people believe that food banks around the country distribute lesser quality food, but the fact is we distribute over 7 million pounds of fresh produce, both fruits and vegetables.
My grandfather, who founded Clover, always said that giving starts at home, and to be able to give back to your community is one of the greatest gifts that you can do. So the food bank is a great example of a nonprofit partner that we have. The food bank picks up products that they can then take back to the food bank to serve meals with. And that is pallets of product weekly.
When we built our new facility, we built a 5,000 square foot freezer cooler that would allow us to both receive high quality produce, but also maintain the integrity of that product from the time we receive it to the time that needy households receive it. We also have something called the Value Market, and it's the first of its kind in the United States. It is a nonprofit market grocery store, if you would, for low-income people specifically. The purpose for the store is to really provide a place of dignity for low-income people, a place where they could get a very good selection, very good value, and most importantly, superior customer service. The people that we serve at times have resources, they have money, they just don't have enough money. And given the opportunity to select the foods that they most want, the Value Market provides that opportunity. And when those resources run out and they need emergency food assistance, then the food bank can supplement that.
The Series Community Project is a real pioneer in trying to reconnect us with healthy foods and healthy eating.
They're training teen chefs to prepare meals going to critically ill people.
We bring teens into the kitchen and into a commercial food production garden, and they do the most important work in the organization. And the food that they prepare goes to people all over Sonoma County and now across the country.
My doctor said to get involved, and my husband called on my behalf, and pretty soon people started bringing me food. Excellent food made by my community teens that was grown 3 blocks from me.
About 80% of cancer patients end up malnourished because the treatment is so debilitating, and people who are malnourished have worse outcomes, longer recovery times, and more side effects.
I had no idea I wouldn't be able to cook or that I wouldn't be able to do things for myself, but I was so grateful to have someone cooking for me.
There's 3,000 new cancer diagnoses a year in Sonoma County. We help 80 families at a time, and somewhere around 400 families a year. We do what we call a whole foods plant-based organic diet, so no processed foods, no white sugar, no white flour, as much as possible grown locally.
I approached Ceres and said, why don't we start a garden part so that the teens have the experience of what healthy food is from the soil all the way to the table. And we have a little more than a half-acre vegetable production garden where we grow vegetables and flowers that go into meals for the clients and bouquets for the clients that we serve. I think the thing that I see the most is that they've learned that they can be a part of the community. I think we've put our youth to the side and kind of want them to grow up, and then we'll deal with them. And I think Ceres gives them a place to be, of value.
We're not only just giving food for sick people. I think it's important for teens to be involved in the community because it's teaching them how to be social, how to talk to people, how to make friends, and also teaching them how to be leaders in their community.
We're 7 years old. This year we'll go over 200,000 meals that we've provided in Sonoma County. We have about 320 active volunteers, adult volunteers here, and about 250 youth a year, maybe 300 this year who will be involved. We have also replicated the model around the country, so there's projects now in 8 communities nationally that are based on what we're doing here, and a couple more that are coming online.
We have to ask the question, is it really okay to have a world in which there are some who are permanently hungry? Is that the world that we want to create? Is it okay for us to create a world in which some of us permanently work hard and never get ahead? Is there a way for us to collectively look at the root of what makes it so that so many of us feel unwell in our community, whether it's because we're worried about our jobs, our homes, our children, or whether we're worried about our health, these root issues that ultimately are about equity in our community. For so long, we've assumed a good food system is that which comes to us fast, cheap, and tastes good. Now, I have nothing against fast and cheap and tastes good, but the fact is that if we look at the long term of where we're headed, too many of us actually don't feel good with the food that we're putting in our bodies.
It is no secret that we have childhood obesity. We have food insecurities throughout so many communities in America today, and I think that makes it all the more important to find out what's going on agriculturally in your community.
I really think it starts with education, from children learning things in schools, but even mom and dad shopping for the family at the store. Read labels. Visit your favorite product's website. Learn everything you can about how they're doing things, and then you can make a more informed choice for yourself that's going to be better off for the land and the animals too. We've always been solar assisted. It was the year 2010 we became 100% here at the farm. Also at the creamery in the parking lot, the solar system there powers 2 electric car charging stations. So folks pull up and plug in their car and fill her up with the sun.
When you've got Mother Nature on your board of directors, showing up to meetings oftentimes a little bit disgruntled, it throws a whole nother variable into the mix, and really a food system is about how are we relating to the earth and to the natural system as well.
The innovation that's going to be necessary to build the food system of the future lies in our minds and hearts today and needs to be unlocked.
What we know is 40% of food in the United States is lost. That happens on the farm, that happens when the food is packaged, that happens when we see folks maybe over-purchasing at the grocery store and ends up a lot going into the trash. We're able, by allowing farmers to post compelling deals and tell their story on Crop Mobster, to help farmers recoup some of their costs, whereas previously, a lot of the excess food that goes to waste, we lose all of our money on.
We have a problem in that many of the gardens aren't allowed to take their food into the school and eat it. It's silly to get a government subsidy on a school lunch when you have a beautiful garden with fresh lettuces and broccoli, etc. What we're hoping to do is not only grow the food, teach the children how to do it and why it's important, but to get them to eat it, share it with their home, and we want it in the schools too.
It's absolutely possible for every single member of our families and every single citizen in Sonoma County to have good food on their plate every single day.
One of the things that we're doing to make this more sustainable is by providing the produce handling and storage training, by providing the stores with how to do food demonstrations themselves and how to put up marketing materials themselves. Our hope is that they will continue doing this work once the project is gone from their store.
Our ability to consistently feed ourselves food that nurtures us, that improves our prospects for the future by making us stronger and healthier and smarter, that's the only way that we can guarantee our future.
Soon in the world, there's gonna be like no more stuff for fast food, and we're gonna have to all eat like food, like garden because like they'll never run out. It'll never happen. Like slow food will never run out.
As a mom of 2 young children, I found it very important to look at the food that I'm putting into my children's body because I want to give them every advantage that they possibly can. And it's not just the ingredients, but it's where that product comes from. So I don't buy tomatoes in December because I know that we can't grow them here. And that's not a bad thing. It's just learning to eat, the way they did a couple hundred years ago, which is seasonally and locally.
A food system, it's the easiest thing in the world to take for granted. We go to the store, the food is there. We go to the restaurant, the food is there. But those decisions are some of the most powerful ones that we make for ourselves and for our families.
There's a lot of incredible work happening in Sonoma County, and we don't want to waste our resources or our donors' resources replicating something that's already happening. We want to do the piece that we do really excellently that will add to the collective impact of the whole.
If we can create these local, casual, friend-based bonds, I think that's sustainable. That's sustainable agriculture.
Thank you for watching this episode of Community Health Connections. To see past episodes and to learn more about this program, visit krcb.org/health.